What's going on, guys? JSGC Football here, and we are here for another weekly episode of our Premier League transfer updates, rolling weekly throughout all of the January winter transfer window. This is our penultimate episode. We'll be covering the series again in the summer, but we've got one final episode coming on February 1st, covering all the deals from now right through transfer deadline day, which is tomorrow, and covering all the latest desperate transfers. I'm sure there'll be some good transfers out there to really get my teeth into, so we're looking forward to that. Transfer deadline day literally is our soap opera for football fans, so looking forward to that and keeping you guys informed. So if you are new around here, you want to stay up to date with all the latest Premier League transfer stories, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll be running the series again in the summer as well for you guys to look forward to. Also, don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up, leave your thoughts as well in the comments below, and go and check out the description with all of my partner channels and social media links and everything. Go and check them out. So let's crack on with this video. We've got 4 transfers to speak about. The first is Craig Dawson. Now, he's left West Ham United and he's gone and joined Wolverhampton Wanderers just on the outskirts of Birmingham instead, and he's joined them on a permanent deal. He signs on a 2.5-year deal, undisclosed. I did a bit of digging to try and find the fee. I can't find anything concrete about what the fee is. I wouldn't imagine the fee would be that high for a 32-year-old centre-back transferring from one Premier League side to another. I don't know if Craig Dawson's going to be used as a rotated option. I'm not a Wolverhampton Wanderers expert. I imagine he would be there for a bit of squad depth, but I found that an interesting, slightly strange transfer. But that transfer is probably a really good summary of the January winter transfer window. Now, speaking of another player and things that might come across as strange, but I'll put a bit of clarity on that, is Maximo Perrone. Now, if you're subscribed to my main channel, as I'm a City fan myself, I cover all things Manchester City over there, and we've been speaking a lot in my daily transfer updates about Maximo Perrone. Now, he's a defensive midfielder, 19 years old, plays for Velez Sarsfield over in Argentina, a top-rated young Argentinian midfielder who Man City have nabbed for a fee of £8.2 million. Manchester City have chosen to pay this in instalments, so they're paying slightly above the ceiling price of what his release clause was. However, City happy to do so, so part of the money will be put on the books for this year and part of the money will be put on the books for next year instead, so saves Man City in the long term a few million quid, which you can't go wrong with. Now, he's signed for Manchester City on a 5.5-year deal. He's going to join up after the Subamericano 20 has been completed in February. He'll join up with the Manchester City first team squad, and sources have suggested that whilst he'll be training with the first team squad, City did want to loan him out. He said he didn't want to be loaned out. He wanted to work with the great facilities around great players and see how he progresses from there, but sources have suggested that he isn't expected to be featuring all that much for Manchester City. But as a defensive midfielder, if Calvin Phillips should pick up an injury, he may well feature. So he signed for Manchester City, and that pretty much is how Man City do their January transfer business. So City don't often do big bits of deals, but if there's any top quality young players out there, in particular having a really good look in South America over the last few years, it's where we managed to nab Gabriel Jesus from when he was playing in Brazil. It's how we managed to bring in Julian Alvarez, and now Maximo Perrone, also another player that's heading on that South American conveyor belt for City, signing in the January winter transfer window, as their season runs from January through to December, which is slightly different to the European leagues. Now, moving on, Chelsea done more business, spent another £26.3 million. Definitely going to be the biggest spenders, I reckon, in this January winter transfer window. But they splashed the cash, bringing in French right-back Malo Gusto. He plays for Lyon. He's 19 years old. He's a full-back. He's going to be loaned back from Chelsea to Lyon, and he's going to complete the season with them, and then he'll join up with Chelsea in the summer. Now, £26.3 million for a 19-year-old is a sensational amount of money, and Chelsea again continue with their theme of long-term solidarity by adding him on a 7.5-year deal. Another player signing for Chelsea and being put on a deal until 2030. It's only 2023, yet they're signed and sealed for the whole decade in a massive contract. Now, you think that most players signing for clubs would be on deals till 2027, 2028, maybe even 2029 if it's a big signing, but 2030, a 7.5-year deal, that's whopping. It's a massive, very long contract, but that's how Chelsea have been doing their business for this winter window so far. Now, the final transfer to speak about is, I don't want to really get my teeth into this, is Anthony Gordon. He plays for Everton. He's a winger, and he's going to be leaving Everton. It's caused all kinds of controversy amongst the Everton fans. This is a player that's choosing to jump ship rather than try and help them in their current problem that they're in, which is potential relegation from the Premier League into the Championship, considering they've done the purchase and got the construction of the new stadium as well. To be relegated out the Premier League could be very costly for Everton, and they'd be under a lot of pressure for an immediate return to the Premier League. The last thing with the money that Everton have been spending, they need is a decline right now. So it's so important that they fight tooth and nail for the next season or two to remain a Premier League club. Financially, they must, in my opinion, remain a Premier League club. Been a bit hesitant sacking Frank Lampard. He's out. Sean Dyche comes in. And Anthony Gordon, as I said, it's caused controversy. He's going to be jumping ship very soon. As Fabrizio Romano has confirmed, he's going to be signing for Newcastle, currently sitting in a Champions League place. I'm expecting Newcastle to have a strong second season as well. At the very least, I'd expect them to be making a European place. They could even make Champions League football next season. And the money that Newcastle are going to spend, the ambition that they're looking for, is they're going to be a very ambitious club, and they're having an outstanding season under Eddie Howe, but they're going to be spending a lot of money to bring Anthony Gordon in. Now, the latest on that transfer is medical's been completed, agreement is in place, and they're just waiting now for an official announcement. The fee is believed to be over £40 million. I do believe the fee is under £45 million. I think we're looking here at a deal that's probably worth roughly around £44 million, according to some sources, but we'll see if we get full clarification on the final fee once the transfer has been complete. Now, Anthony Gordon, what is he going to bring to Newcastle? I rate him. I remember doing a preview with one of the Everton channels before the City-Everton game where we dropped points on New Year's Eve. I remember speaking about some Everton standout players that I rate who were good players. I gave my thoughts on Everton, and Anthony Gordon was a player that came up. I spoke about him, and I will mirror exactly what I said in that video. My stance remains the same. Anthony Gordon, in my opinion, is a solid Premier League player, and if you can get the best out of him, then he could branch up to that next stage and could become an all-round, really solid Premier League player. However, is he worth right now over £40 million in the current market, a homegrown player? Some will argue yes. I like to argue that when it comes to bringing in players and getting a really good value for money, homegrown players isn't really the way to go, but Premier League clubs under pressure with a homegrown quota, and in particular Newcastle under pressure if they do make a European place, need homegrown talent there. So that would explain why they're doing this. To me, £44 million is very excessive for a player who I rate but hasn't had a brilliant season for Everton. Last season, when he was excelling, maybe. This season, I have bits of hesitation. Now, if it's available for an affordable price, like a £25 million, it's worth the gamble. But Newcastle are spending a lot of money to bring a player in here who, in my opinion, doesn't improve their squad. He is a player that doesn't take Newcastle to that next level. He isn't a player that if Newcastle make the Champions League, that he's going to make the difference between them potentially the season after remaining a Champions League club or not. I see him being a squad player, and if you're having to pay over £40 million for a squad player whilst heavily invested in other areas as well, then it's I'm not sure about this transfer. I'm really not. It's an interesting transfer. I'm not so sure about it. Mixed opinions amongst the Newcastle fans, mixed opinions amongst the Everton fans. I'd love to know your thoughts. Anthony Gordon, do you think he's a good signing for Newcastle? What could he bring? Let me know in the comments below, but he is expected to become a Newcastle player. It could be whilst I've been producing this video, could already have been confirmed. If that is the case, then I'll confirm that in my update on February 1st, giving all the roundup of the last couple of days of the transfer market, including the very exciting transfer deadline day. So I will see you guys for that. Make sure you stick around, subscribe, that'd be much appreciated. Leave a thumbs up if you do enjoy this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll see you all again in a couple of days for the transfer update, the final one of the January winter transfer window with the roundup of transfer deadline day. We've got plenty more football content to come. We've already uploaded plenty of football content too, including plenty of match vlogs. So do feel free to go and check them out on the channel. That'd be much appreciated. And I'll see you all again real soon. So I've been JSGC Football. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.